Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of almost all ages, with parental consent, the sick twisted minds at Sacrificial Pawn Productions brings you a new style horror film, like nothing you have seen before. There are no cops, no investigations. There is no backstory, no follow-up of the victims who were brutally tortured and murdered. Our story isn't about them. Normal Terror is about a single dad struggling to make ends meet. His son is his first priority. He goes to work, pays his bills, and is generally a great dad. The twist comes after he puts his son to bed. This is where he releases his stress. Some people do yoga, some hit the gym, some go for runs, some people paint on a canvas. An anonymous source once wrote on an abandoned asylum wall, "I never understood people until I took one apart just to see how it worked." If you are rear-ended in traffic, most people's thought runs to anger and their primal instincts of hurting the other party. Sam Neill does not have the ability to stop that primal instinct. Let us take you into the mind of a killer. Normal Terror is a concept from the mind of Sam Mason, who wrote, directed, produced, and is starring in this new age feature film.
Let's get slicing and dicing with Sir Sturdy horror fans. On this podcast, you will hear me and a guest do some movie reviews, random funny horror chats, and whatever else comes to mind. So tune in, kick back, relax, and always remember, I'll see you in your nightmares.
Well, just Jason's mask.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Finally got my guy Sam Mason back here, Sacrificial Pawn Productions, Normal Terror. If you haven't seen that trailer yet, definitely check it out. I shared it on the page. I've shared it with you guys plenty of times. And Sam, welcome back to the show, man. How's it going?
It's going fantastic, brother. How you doing, man? I appreciate you having us back on.
Anytime. Like I told you before, you're welcome on here anytime. And it's going really good. I mean, as you seen last week, and I had that con, which went great for me. And I see a lot of things are going great for you guys.
Yeah, man. It was, I follow you, man. You and I are pretty tight, and since you did that first interview with us, which I got to give you a huge props to and shout out, because you were our first official interview, and at that point in time, we were still real slow and just kind of, doing stuff here and there, and since then, I mean, we've completely exploded 5,000%, and I've seen that, as I follow you and talk to you on a regular basis, I've noticed that, you've really grown. And, I'm proud of you, brother. You just hung in there and you keep doing your thing, and it's amazing.
I appreciate that. And yeah, I seen, excuse me, I seen your guys' growth since then, and then same with me. Like since then, it's been growing a lot. I've been sticking with it, having a great time with it. That's at the end of the day, I just try to have fun with the podcast, and whatever happens, happens with it.
That's it, man. It's like we said in the beginning when we first got on, first got together and did that first one. It's just having fun with it. Following our passions, following our dreams, and just doing it for the love of the art.
Yeah, that's a big thing right there. Like real quick, last weekend at the Scare Con event I was at last weekend, I was on a podcasting panel, and someone in the crowd was asking us like, what made us start our podcast, and like, what do we get out of it? And they're asking about also financial benefits with it, and I was like, well, for starters, I was like, as far as the money part goes, if you're getting into a podcast looking for money, you're not going to get anywhere with it because one, you're going at it about the wrong reasons. You should go at it as a passion just to have some fun with it. And I was like, and answer your other question about why I started a podcast, I was like, one, I love listening to podcasts, and two, I love horror, so why not combine them, throw them together, record with other friends, make some more friends, record with family, and see where it goes. If money comes from it, awesome. If it doesn't, awesome. I'm gonna do it either way. I'm gonna put that same passion in it either way. But I won't turn down money if that ever if that ever did come. I'm not gonna say no. This is my love and my craft. I don't want no. You can still pay me for it, whatever. Cool. But that's not why I do it.
No, for sure, man. Believe me, dude. You know, if we had money being thrown at us for this, you know, I would absolutely adore it. You know, because things are still a struggle. You know, I'm still a single father ultimately, and you know, doing our best to to get by, and until this thing really takes off. You know, and but regardless, I mean, I'm doing it for the passion of the project. You know, I believe in what I'm doing, and we've got a great following because of the passion I carry with this project. So.
I agree with that. And I think one big thing, I know I've said this before in other podcasts, I know I've probably said it to you before, is like you're really friendly with fans and stuff. You share a lot. You don't give away a lot of details of the movie, obviously, but you share a lot with the fans. Like I like how you guys with the practical effects and stuff. How you guys are posting pictures and doing videos of that just to show people like what's going on behind the scenes. You don't really get that from a lot of other horror movies or movies in general. Not on Facebook or something, not online. If you do get that, you have to buy that special DVD and you don't really get it in that detail, but you guys just go out there showing everybody. And that right there, me as a fan of you guys from day one, I'm just like, that's freaking awesome.
Yeah, I've had some people kind of, tell me that we shouldn't be doing that. And the way I see it is, there's a lot of people out there who want to get into something but don't know how.
Mm-hmm.
And the process that we're using is completely different than anything else in the industry, and it's giving us a hyper realistic feel to our props and our special effects that nobody really has unless they're a complete master of that art. Because the process that they're using, you're doing an aggregate, composite mold, and then you're having to do a double reverse of that mold, and then you're having to do a sculpting, and and all kinds of other things to give you the realism and the detail. Whereas, if you've caught up on our stuff like you're talking about and watched the behind the scenes video of us making props and stuff like that, we're using something that, and I can't give it away completely. We got to pay us for that, but
Mm-hmm.
um,
No, I get it.
but it's kind of like a paraffin wax type thing where it goes on, it slides on, it's quick, it's easy, it's done. The mold itself is done in 45 minutes, and it gets each and every single detail, no matter how small that detail is, into the prop, into the mold. We pour our silicone straight into that. We use top notch products like EcoFlex from I don't know who the hell makes EcoFlex, but anyways, we use EcoFlex, and we use different types of the EcoFlex to create the different textures and feels, so it gives it that realism.
Yeah, yeah. I just I enjoy it all. I love that kind of stuff. And then just the other day, I checked out your interview that you did last week, which I thought was pretty cool. I appreciate the shout out on that. Actually, definitely on that.
Oh, on the Jeff and Janky show.
Yeah, yep, the Jeff and Jenke show. I listened to that at work actually.
Nice. Yeah, that was a blast, man. Chaoticradio.com. The guys over there are phenomenal. I actually met them at the LBAFA event that we went to with Derek Easley. He runs the Long Beach Actors and Filmmakers Association out there, and I was invited to be out there as a special guest along with Craig Reed. And it's amazing to to have that kind of stuff going on and to be doing that kind of stuff. So I've met a lot of network connections, and they asked us to be on the podcast. We've been talking to him about it for a while. Craig Reed he had the connections with him. He's been on there before with Reanimator stuff, and now that we have him working with us as an actor and as a producer, he's helped us get into some things that we might not have been able to get into before. So it's nice to have him on board, and we're definitely. But again, back to the Jeff and Janke show. Those guys were a blast. It was great to be on their show, and I hope to be able to do their show again pretty soon.
Oh,
So.
they're definitely gonna have you back on. I'm sure they're smart enough to know they should have you guys back on because it was a good interview. It was a fun interview. I liked how you guys were just not even like I don't really look at certain things as like an interview. It's like you guys are just having a friendly, good conversation and just recording it pretty much. So it was more comfortable, more laid back and relaxed. And I feel like that's the best way to do these type of things.
No, I absolutely agree. And if you remember back to our first interview, we talked for about 10 minutes before we actually went on the air and just cut up and, got to know each other a little bit and, just really had some fun with it, and I really enjoyed that, especially being my first interview, and I've done quite a few since, but, you were my first, man. You popped my cherry, brother.
Hey, got to be the first at something, right? But yeah, that
Hey
was
there,
it.
man.
Was cool though. Like I look at it when you guys are huge. I know it's gonna happen Monday. I'm like, hey, I gave them their very first interview, so that's awesome.
Hey, man, and you and I have talked about this before, but I want to get out to the listeners. Once we have a release of this film, once we get it done, you and I are going to do a Q&A panel back on your side of the country, and do that shit live on your podcast, and hopefully at a decent horror convention. So
Oh, that would be so awesome. That would be so great. I will. I'll tell you right now. Once everything's all said and done with your movie and everything, I will talk to the guy who runs ScareCon out this way, and I'll take it from there and get. I'll do that, and then I'll give you his information and vice versa, so we can all figure this out. Because that would be amazing going up there, just doing a screener and all that, and doing the panel for that. That would be fun as hell too.
oh, yeah, definitely, man. That would be a blast, man. It was cool when we did the hashtag LBAFA event.
Hmm.
They showed our trailer, so we had 30, 40, 50 people, be able to check that out. They promoted us and and got us out there, and and I got to meet some really awesome people. One of those people being Perry Teo. Who's an executive producer for things such as American Horror Story and stuff like that. And he's an amazing guy. And it was really cool because if you watch the video that they did, I actually got him on camera talking about our special effects and with the possibility of us doing some props for AHS next season.
That would be awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, dude, that would be phenomenal, bro.
It's so cool networking with other fans too. Like last weekend at the con, I was on I did three different panels. I did a podcasting panel with other podcasts. I did a panel with two of my friends. Well, the two of friends they were on all. Well, no, one of my friends was on only one of them because he was only there Saturday. My other friend was on there for all three of the panels that we were on. But
Right.
it was just cool being on those panels, just sitting in front of people and just talking horror. Like for one, we did Halloween 2007. And with that one, we just discussed the movie some, likes, dislikes about the movie. Then we involved the crowd, see what they like, dislike about the movie. Then it turned into like a random horror chat, and we involved the crowd and all that too with that one.
Right.
The other panel was the podcasting panel was pretty similar. It was just, but talking about podcasts and horror podcasts mainly. But again, we
Right.
involved the crowd in that one. This one was all the podcasters though, including me and my one friend Matt. And then
Right.
this right here, the final panel we did was on Saturday with the cast from Friday the 13th Part 7, which was freaking awesome. That
Oh, yeah, dude, that's phenomenal.
I never thought I would get an opportunity to do anything like that because I'm like I was watching this movie as a kid. Like I'm a huge Friday the 13th fan. I growing up watching this movie as a kid, sneaking in with my older cousins and brothers and all that stuff for watching these movies. I'm sneaking in there hiding to watch the movie with them. And now I'm sitting
Right.
by the panel with these people that were in this freaking awesome movie. So that was really fun. And it just
Speaking of Friday the 13th, you know who's doing our score, right?
no, who's doing your score?
Oh, dude. Really? You
I
haven't kept up on that, brother?
I I it may have just slipped my mind. Like I'm horrible with names for one, and two, just so
I
much stuff
got
that's been going on. So
I have a letter of intent from Harry Manfredini, who's going to do our score, and he is the genius mastermind composer behind Friday the 13th.
that's awesome.
He has done each and every single one of their scores, and I'm in talks with him once we receive a budget to have him write an original score for our film.
That is amazing.
Yeah, dude. That's like one of those things that just doesn't happen. That's a God thing for me right there, bro. It's like, we were filming. He happens to live across the street from where we were filming one of the scenes, and he came over, saw what we were doing, really loved it, and put himself out there. And he's like, you know what, I really like to be a part of this project. So, it was really cool to have somebody of his caliber see what we were doing and offer his services to work with us, which is, I use the hashtag, no one's talking about us yet, but they will be.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of those things, is that to have somebody of his caliber see the passion and the project and the work that we're putting into this and want to be a part of it is huge for us, so it was really hard not to fangirl and let my head explode when services, but because I love Friday the 13th as well, but to have somebody of his caliber, offer his services and be a part of this project is one of those things that just doesn't usually happen like that. There's usually a lot of channels you have to go through and a lot of connections you have to use and favors to give out in order to get somebody like him on the. It's really cool that he was willing to do that.
Well, first of all, congratulations on that because that's freaking amazing. And second, it's just what you said there. Stuff like that is so cool. Like when you meet some people big like that that are just like, you know what, I'm interested in what you're doing, or just stand there and talk to you is even enough for me. Like I had the pleasure of meeting Amanda Wiss last weekend. I actually met her for the second time again. As you know, she was in Nightmare on Elm Street, the first one, and she's also in this movie called The Id. It's a
Yeah.
The Id is actually a really good movie, psychological movie.
Right.
I highly recommend it.
Okay.
It's a low budget film, but I highly recommend it. And the reason why I'm bringing this up, it'll all make sense in a minute. But
All right.
anyway, I met her back in April when they had a con up here. I met her and I met Robert England. But I was talking to her up back in April, and she was talking about the movie The Id, and I told her I'd watch it. I didn't watch it from April all the way up till last weekend. So we seen her again Saturday. She remembered us from the con in Albany, which I thought was amazing. My
Right.
wife and I. And then we brought up the movie or whatever, and I was like, you know what? I was like, we're gonna watch this movie tonight. It was that Saturday of the con. There was still one more day left, and we're gonna tell you how we feel about it tomorrow. And she was so happy about that. She thanked us so many times and just came around
Yeah.
the table, gave us both a hug, and she said, let us know how much that meant to her. That we're fans of hers, and we're gonna watch that movie and let her know how we feel about it. So the
Yeah.
next day, go back, tell her how we feel about the movie and all that. Talking to her for a little while, and I looked down at the picture of it, and I was like, you know what? I was like, I'm gonna gather up a couple of my friends. So I was like, I have my one friend Matt here and my brother Henry back out. Well, he's out in Colorado now. But I was like, I'm gonna have
Right.
them watch it too. I'm gonna rewatch it again a couple times. I was like, we're gonna do a podcast on it. And her jaw just dropped. She's like, Are you serious? I was like, Yeah, of course. Why not? Of
Right.
course. And she thanked me again, and she's like, I want you to send that to me when that episode is done, and gave me her email. And I was like, that. I was just like in shock. I didn't know what to do at that point. I was like, wow, that's so freaking awesome. Like little old me
Yeah.
getting her email to send her my podcast of what we're talking about in the movie she was in. That's freaking amazing.
Yeah. Her private email.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Her private email at that. Not just like the ones that everybody, not like the one that you go through the agent where it's like, you can contact Amanda through this or whatever. Like her official email. I emailed her that day. So she would have my email and she was like, I got it. I actually
Yeah.
what I did was I actually emailed her because I couldn't read the writing at first. So I sent the email and I walked over to make sure she got it. And she showed me. She's like, "Yeah, I got it." And I was like, oh, "That's freaking awesome." So, and I also connect
Yeah.
with
Dude, I've had a couple of those things like that happen, and it just blows my mind
yeah,
when I mean, I understand, coming from that perspective and starting to pick up more and more fans now. I'm starting to get recognized,
hmm
and especially like on social media, dude, I've been blowing up, man. I've got 100 to 200 private messages a day in my inbox, and it's like, and random people calling me, and it's like, it's starting to get at that point, and it's just like, where I got to separate, public and professional,
yeah,
and it's, It got to a point, where like, I understand, that spectrum of things, when you're meeting fans and talking to people and, and that kind of thing. So, to have somebody who is humble like that, recognize, that we're all trying to, do something different, and, not having that, that psycho fan, thing going on is really cool. And to keep that humility regardless of what you've done or, anything else. So.
Yeah, no, I hear you with that. And then I got to connect with Ken Sagos. He played Kincaid in Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3. This guy was
Uh-huh.
hilarious. My brother's a big fan of that's like his favorite slasher series. So when we were there, we got him his autograph along with a script from that movie Part 3. And my
Right.
wife asked him, she was like, "Hey, she was like, can you do me a favor?" She was like, "Can you call my brother-in-law when he's on break? Because he, like again, he lives out in Colorado now, and he couldn't make the con this year." He was like, "Yeah, of course,
Uh,
sure." So about a half hour later, I go back over to him, call him up on my phone. He talked to him for a good 5 minutes. He had to go back to work, so he talked to him for a few minutes. And that right there,
Dude.
just I talked to my brother after that. He was like, "Yo," he's like, "That made my freaking day." He was like, "Thank you." He was just so happy about it.
Right.
And then another cool thing about that though was at some point I went over to Ken. I was like, "Hey," I was like, "Whenever some point this weekend when you're free, can you come over to my table for like 20 minutes tops, half hour to 20 minutes tops, and record with me?" He was like, "Of course, sure," and he did. So my wife took pictures of it, posted it on the group and all that. I got to record with him on the podcast, and he said he would come on again because I was like, my brother wants to record with you, with all that. So he said he'd come on again to do like a full length episode. And I bought him some fried chicken that weekend, so that was an epic weekend for me.
Hey, was it Popeyes or was it Mom and Pop?
No, it was this place in the casino downstairs. It was called the Funky Chicken or something, and that chicken was so. I listen to this. That chicken was so good. Like you bite it, it's nice and crispy on the outside and nice and juicy on the inside, right? My
Right.
wife got some that Saturday night. We brought it back. She didn't finish it, so when we left Sunday, she brought it back home Sunday night. Put it in the oven Sunday night to eat. Warmed it up. It was still crispy and juicy, like it was just fresh coming out, from being cooked. I was like, that was just amazing chicken.
Dude, that's awesome, man. I love me some fried chicken, dude.
Oh man,
I got a recipe that I love to cook, but I've got a recipe that's kind of carried down generation to generation, and I love doing it, man. It's fried chicken is one of those things that, dude, everybody loves.
you're right about that. I love it too.
You know.
I know what I
But
do.
no,
I go on these.
I keep up and I follow on your your posts and the stuff your wife does, and I mean you've got an awesome family, awesome friends and support around you, and and I try to keep up on almost everything you're doing. I mean I probably blow up your timeline sometimes when I'm catching up, and like heart, but it's one of those things. You've always been there for me, so I'm always gonna be there for you. So.
I could say the same thing to you, man. Same exact thing. When you guys post stuff, I usually share it in my group, share it on the page, and share it in other horror groups. I'm like, you guys supported me from day one with this whole podcast thing. Once we started connecting, and then with me too, I look at it like if I see someone that's a huge horror fan or whatever, if you share my stuff or not, I don't mind sharing it. I don't mind talking about it on my podcast because it's the only I look at it's the only way we're all gonna grow if we all help each other out. And as far as social media goes, it's a simple like, share, or whatever. That's it. And it takes 2 seconds. You don't even have to leave comments. I mean, I do for certain people. I do for you guys, but it's that simple. Just help each other grow.
Well, and that's the thing, what is that we're all doing this thing together, and without any one of the link in the chain, between us and our fans, and and networking and other people in the industry and stuff like that, if we don't support each other, man, ain't nobody going anywhere. And
Exactly.
the ultimate goal of it is to is to push forward into new and exciting projects, and and create something that not only that we love and believe in, but something that's going to draw the attention of the fans, and give them something to like us for.
Exactly. Exactly. I did get one fan question from my brother for you. Let me look
Uh
it up real quick. He just asked like, what was the inspiration behind the movie?
Normal terror.
Yeah. Yep.
The inspiration. Well, okay. Let me break this down real quick. Let's see. Okay, so basically, I think we kind of talked about this last time I was on the podcast, but I think I've grown a little bit since then and may be able to explain it a little bit better.
Okay.
But basically, back in high school, I was getting loaded with a high school friend of mine. And we were just sitting there bullshitting, talking. It's one of those things where you're out there getting high, and and your head just starts going all kinds of Aeropostale, and you're getting all kinds of philosophical shit.
Mm-hmm.
And we started talking about what would happen if what are the most horrible ways to die? What are some of the most brutal things you could think of that that people could die, or you would do to somebody if certain circumstances were to exist. Purge, stuff like that. Somebody hurts someone in your family, whatever. Regardless of what it is, it's having a reason to do that. And so, as from that time, I was probably 15, 16 years old, and over the years, it elaborated into me thinking about those things more. It's there's a lot of psychological aspects to this film, and that's why I call it a psychological gore. Which is a new style gore film. We use both those hashtags when we're doing our stuff usually. But it's one of those things where I am a single father. The normal side of things is pretty much based on my life with my son. He's you've talked to Sammy before.
Mm-hmm.
He's highly intelligent, very eloquent. But he's a 14-year-old kid. And we have our struggles, and we have our financial struggles, and struggling to pay bills at different times, depending on what I'm doing. But being a truck driver and putting all that time in my head really gave me an opportunity to elaborate on a lot of things. And so basically, here and there, I would sit and think about different things, and pull the concepts together and whatnot. And it just it kind of took on a life of its own. The reason we use the name Normal Terror is a multi psychological purpose. Normal being the everyday aspects of somebody's life.
Uh-oh.
Okay, sorry about that. Had a poor network connection for a second. But normal being the normal everyday aspects of life that everybody can relate to, struggling to pay your bills, and security, and all that stuff, working day to day, and taking care of your kids, and just doing all the day-to-day life stuff. And then the terrorizing part of that, the terror part of that is not only the monsters inside of his head, but also the things that happen in life itself. We talked about this before. Is our society has become desensitized to almost anything that happens in the world. We're not shocked anymore.
That's so true.
What's that?
No, I was saying that's very true. It's sad, but it's true.
Right. It is very sad, but it is true. We send up our thoughts and our prayers, and then 5 minutes later, we're on to the next thing. So it has a multi-use, and this is, again, the log line that I use is, after he puts his son to bed, man becomes monster, and he goes out and he abducts and kills people in the most horrific of ways. So the story really didn't develop until October of last year. And I literally had this thing wrote in a year or in a month. Once I had somebody pushed me to pursue it and go after it. I set my mind to it, and I spent countless hours over that month, just writing this thing down and getting it done, and putting together a production shot list and how I wanted it shot, and thinking about everything that's outside of that ABC film box that they primarily use to create films and market them. Everything that I'm doing is outside of the stereotypical film box. But again, we've discussed this before, but there's only been five movies that have really been outside the box and started their own subgenre of horror in the last 20, 25 years. And that being starting with the Blair Witch.
Mm-hmm.
It was everything outside of the film box that could be done. So I'm thinking, or I'm hoping with this one, with the passion behind it, and the support and the love of our friends and our family, and and our fans, that we can really do something amazing with this and really create something that's outside the box. That's gonna, pursue those independents out there, the people that have the passion to create something new, something that will inspire them to push forward and go with with what they want to do, not what they have to do, but what they want to do.
I hear you there. Definitely hear you there with that. I'm, man, I can't wait for this freaking movie. I'm so excited about it. I can't wait for your guys' next trailer. Just, I still have that list you gave me a while ago, and I'm just like, I just can't wait to see this on film. It's gonna be amazing. It's gonna be crazy.
Dude, I remember when we first started talking, I sent you a couple pieces of the script, and the shot list and stuff, and just we kind of started right there, and before we even had any of the film shot whatsoever. So it was really cool that with what I sent you, you were able to visualize it and get into it and get that excited about it, and then as we progressed over this last year, I've talked to quite a few people, and we're miles ahead of what a lot of other people in the industry have had to go through to get this far, as quickly as we have. So, it's literally been 1 year since I had nothing more than a concept, for this film. We're in full production. We're working on our business plan and getting our pro forma and all that stuff put together, so that we can, we're still looking for, for a budget to finish it up. But again, it's one of those things. It's just a passion that we're slowly moving towards our goal and our dream, and we will get there, even if we have to do it slowly. So
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know you guys will get there because you guys, like you said, you started the way you did last year when we were talking. You just had it on paper, and now you have your trailer out. You guys got some recording done, quite a bit of recording done, and it's just you didn't give up. You guys are gonna keep fighting, no matter what it takes. You're gonna, there's gonna be bumps and bruises and struggles and all that, but at the end of the day, it's gonna make it all worth it. And I can't wait to see the finished product. I know it's gonna be freaking great.
give me a breakdown on what you think of the trailer that we put out so far. How did it make you feel?
Wanting more. Honestly, just wanting more. And I say that too because again, because you sent me parts of the script, so I knew a lot more than a whole bunch of other people knew about what's going into this movie. And then for me to
Right.
finally see something, a visual, a 2 minute visual, I'm just like, this is gonna. I want more. Like I wanted more from the script as far as wanting to see something more from the script. And then when I got
Right.
that little trailer, I'm like, I want even more now. It's just so amazing. And I've done a
Right.
couple podcasts where I show a couple friends the trailer. One episode
Uh-huh.
with my cousin, I actually played the trailer as we were recording. Just you could see, you can't see it on a podcast, but you can hear it in the background. And we discussed
Right.
what we felt about it then. And my cousin was like, "This looks good." He's like, "I can't wait." He can't wait to see it either.
Hell yeah! Hey, we had an anonymous donor put out some purchase a bunch of merchandise for us. So we have a bunch of shirts in print right now. So we're gonna have we have 50 shirts that are gonna be going out for sale. We've got some hats, we've got some patches, and some beer koozies. So all you guys out there that are following us and are into drinking and and supporting indie film, that's one of the ways that we're moving forward with this. Is thank God for that initial donor, that anonymous donor. The company won't tell me who the hell it was. They asked specifically to be anonymous, and they paid the fee for the package of merchandise and the shipping costs. So I'm completely blown away, man, with the support we've got.
That's a beautiful thing right there. It makes you have look at people different. Like that's good. You still have some really good people out there. That's amazing, and I'm happy as hell for you guys about that. When I seen that, I definitely shared it. And I was like, this is just another awesome thing. People want
Yeah,
you guys
man,
to
for
win.
sure.
If you're going to keep winning, people want you guys to win.
That's it, man. It's little by little, man. Our base has grown and become a true family. Everything that we've done with with Sacrificial Pond Productions and Stonemason Special Effects and Normal Terror. We're branding it, and we're getting it out there, and people are starting to recognize it. I mean, I've probably put together and handed out between Steve and I. Steve. Yeah, I had to throw that in there from the last time, but no, we've really come together, and I probably handed out 1,000 business cards in the last 6 months alone at the different events that we've gone to.
That's another great thing right there. That helps a whole lot. And I wish I could have got some business cards from you for last weekend because I had mine out there, and I had my friend Matt's out there for his YouTube channel, You and Your Horror
Right.
Movies, and then I had my friends out there from these guys are all the way out from St. Louis. They sent me some business cards called their shop's called the Nightmare Shop. They own a horror shop out in St. Louis, and they also have a website and all that. So I was giving out all
Oh,
their
dude, I
business cards.
follow them.
They're I had them on the podcast so many times. They're cool as hell. They're real cool
Yeah,
guys.
and dude, with everything I've had going on, and and drumming up work, and events and all that stuff, dude, I didn't get around to it, and that's my bad. That's another reason why I got a manager on board. Is because I have so much stuff going on between my private life and my professional life. With everything that's starting to go up with my acting career, it's just exploding right now, man. I'm having a hard time keeping up.
No, that's completely understandable. And I know by the time I go to another horror convention, I'll have some business cards from you guys. So I'm not even worried about it. I already know you guys are busy. I see what you guys are doing just from what you're sharing, and I know you're doing a hell of a lot more. Plus, you have your personal life, like you're saying. So I get it.
Yeah. It's like this last week I was on the film Cross Wars, which is producer Larry Layfield, really phenomenal guy. But this is a film that has Danny Trejo in. It's
Nice.
got Lou Ferrigno, and this last week when I was on set. Matter of fact, it was just a couple of days ago. I put a post up, but I got to work with Richard Grieco, man. I mean, how fucking cool is that, dude? Richard Grieco, man, the original 21 Jump Street dude. It's Night at the Roxbury, man. This dude has like 70 credits to his name. And he's just the most humble, laid back dude. I didn't even recognize it was him until the end of the day. When everybody was saying their goodbyes and stuff like that, I went up to shake his hand and I said, I'm sorry, I didn't catch your name. And he's like, Richard. I said, Richard Grieco? He said, yeah. I said, oh, dude, right on, man. I'm a huge fan, and he was just real humble, real cool, but, he didn't boast or gloat or anything like that. He was just having a good time on set, and it was a phenomenal experience for somebody of that caliber.
I'm glad you're getting these experiences too, and just I'm glad you guys keep growing with stuff. And I like how you guys everything that's going forward for you guys are still staying humble, which I feel is very important because it's one way you'll grow, and it's one way you'll keep excelling. You're staying humble because as soon as maybe not with everybody, some people just get lucky either way, but as soon as you get way too cocky and all that and forget people, that's when you start kind of making that decline. And it's just like you had that shot and you just turn into an asshole and screw it up for yourself. But you guys are staying real humble, real friendly, and interacting with the fans and all that. And it's huge. It means a lot to us. Trust me.
I really appreciate that, but the reality of it is, man, is looking at it from my perspective, dude, is 10 years ago, my sobriety birth date is coming up. My 10-year sobriety birth date. But 10 years ago, dude, I was just a skid row bum living in the gutter. And that's where I come from. If I've worked my ass off to get where I am, and to pursue my dreams and to do everything that we're doing. Um, but at the same time, I've got a whole lot of grace. I've got, I'm just a nobody that God gave another chance to. And for me, it's one of those things where I'm looking at it from the perspective of, one wrong decision, I could be right back there again. So humility for me is a really big thing. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I still make mistakes, and I unintentionally hurt people, and and that kind of thing, especially in my private life. But it's one of those things that it's hard to manage, because I don't put a whole lot of my private life out there for everybody, while we're trying to promote the movie and doing all this stuff, what I have going on and the difficulties in separating, my private life from my professional, I think is something that a lot of people chance to do once they explode, because the media is all about exploding the negative more than the positive. So I try to keep my private life as private as possible. And I don't want anybody to pity me for the struggles that we're going through. But again, I do have those struggles. I think we all have those struggles, and it's something we can all relate to. But I don't put that kind of stuff out there. So people are only seeing one perspective of what's going on, and that's the perspective that I want them to see, because regardless of what's going on in my private life, business is completely separate from that, and I'm trying to build an empire, so regardless of the struggles that I'm going through and the difficulties, that empire is going to be built brick, even if I have to make them myself.
And that's a great thing, though. I mean, as far as what you're trying to do, really, your private life doesn't need to be involved too deep. Like people don't need to know your whole private life, your whole life story, and what's going on in your life to enjoy what you guys are doing. Because then that, they people only want to know about that to be nosy. A lot of people don't want to know about that because they care. They just want to know just so they know, type of thing.
Right.
You know?
Well, not only that, but then you got a lot of people out there who are looking at it, to use it as a step for themselves to get something out of,
Well, yeah.
and so I keep my, my circle real tight, real close, because there are people who are going to try to use that kind of stuff to their advantage to grow, and, hey, I wish you guys the best with that if that's what you're about. But, my circle is about loyalty and, staying true to, my beliefs and my morals of the people around me.
No, that's good though. That's really good. Have you got a chance to see the new Halloween yet?
You know what, man? As horrible as it sounds, I have not. Again, we've got some financial difficulties we're dealing with. Work's being real slow right now. My 9 to 5 day job, so I'm struggling to keep up. But we're keeping our head above water, and I have not been able to see that just yet. But I am looking forward to watching it.
Okay. Yeah, it was. Well, first of all, good luck with that stuff because that, that's with anybody. You don't want that happening. Understandable though, but I know things will get greater and better for you there. And it was a really good movie. I'm not going to spoil it, but I will say that I don't know if it's my favorite or if the original is my favorite. That's what I'll say about that. And really well done.
Right on, man. I can appreciate that. I think, one of the difficulties I have with franchises, especially, the iconic franchises, like Halloween and Friday the 13th, is that there's so many different versions of what it is. And my understanding of the new Halloween is that, you basically have to forget everything that happened after the original in order for this one to make sense. And it's like, so I'm kind of, torn between, I love the franchise and I love the things that they've done, but at the same time, kind of, be like, I'm really tired of something just being done because they know it will make money. And that's one of the things that we're doing differently with Normal Terror, again, with it being outside the box, is that it's not necessarily just about making money, but, because we're a brand that nobody knows yet. So we're trying to do something that's completely different. And, I would like to see the bigger studios and stuff like that go more towards independent stuff that hasn't been done and create new icons, David Howard Thornton, and Art the Clown, with Terrifier is one of those things as well. I'm friends with him on social media, and him and I have talked, and he actually gave me a pretty good review of our trailer, which I respected the hell out of. But it's things like that. Is stepping outside the box and doing something new. I think is what the fans are craving more than they are the prefabbed showcases and icons that they already have. Bring something new to the table.
I agree. I definitely agree with that. And then just jumping back to the Halloween thing, like how the new one is just a direct sequel to the original. I guess you can also look at you could still watch the original and all the sequels if you want to watch those together, or you can watch the
Right.
original with this last one, and it fits great. Like you won't even miss the sequels, but you can always go back to them. And then jumping back
Right.
to the whole new idea thing, I do agree with you 100% on that as well, because a lot of the horror movies, you're seeing a bunch of repeats, you're seeing stuff that's already been done. If the movies are good or not, I'm not going to say all the movies are bad because they're not, but it would be nice to see some fresh ideas and just somebody completely new coming out, like with you guys coming out with this. It's going to be, it's great. And again, with Art the Clown, with David Howard Thornton with the Terrifier movie, that movie was a fun movie. It didn't really have a strong story, but he stole the show. Just the way he acted, his movements and everything, and just
Right.
you want to see more. You want to see more of that movie now. Like I want to see another Terrifier movie. I want to see a sequel to that, which I know there is going to be. They're in talks. I believe it's being written now. I know they're definitely in talks
Right.
about it, so that's going to be fun. And it's just like
Right.
I would really like to see a new franchise, rather that be a slasher, like say with Safe Arts, like the new iconic slasher. I would love to see something like that. I know it's copying slashers and all that, but it's still a different type of story and it's something completely new. It's not just Michael, Jason, Freddy, Chucky, etc. It's something completely
Right.
new. And I really want to see what you guys do with this Normal Terror and any other projects you guys are working on as far as movies go, because I think it's going to be something good, something new. Sacrificial Pawn Productions getting your guys' name out there to do something great.
It's funny you bring that up because I'm actually starting to develop the story for my next one. I'm
Nice.
not going to give up too much away right now, but my next film is going to be the best way I can describe it without giving it away is imagine 13 ghosts mashed up with Pirates of the Caribbean,
Hmm.
okay, in steampunk fashion on a train.
Mm. This will be interesting. This will definitely be interesting.
It's a sci-fi gore film. So it's another psychological twist to things, and you know me, brother.
Hmm.
I kind of go outside the box, and my thinking is sometimes way out there past the edges of the known universe that we're at. And some people say way out in left field, whatever. But I like to think about things that one haven't been done before, and two create something that's interesting and fun.
That's the best way to do it right there. The last part you said with the interesting and fun thing, because if you have a great time with it, it's gonna do something. It really is. I feel again, you're not doing. I mean, I'm not saying you don't want to make money off your projects. Do not get me wrong. But at the same time, you guys aren't doing it for a money grab. You're doing it for a passion or something you love to do, and the rest will come. The money will come, and all the other good stuff will come. It's just you got to put that hard work and dedication into it for the rest to come, and you have to have that real passion for it, which I can tell you guys do. Because if you didn't have the passion for it, you would have stopped a long time ago. Like, look, this was fun to do. We don't have the budget. We're done. That's it. But no, it's like, you know what? We don't have the budget right now. We're going to keep busting our ass and working at it. We're going to get that money up there however we have to. And then once that money gets there, we're going to do more. We're going to do what we can when we can. And I love that.
Absolutely, and it really makes me think, is that our society is based upon getting something very easy, very quick, very I want it now, I want it now, I want it now, I want it now. And with something that you truly have a passion for, you have to put in the work. You have to, bust your ass. You have to take your lumps. I think Rocky explained it best, when he said, nothing is going to hit you as hard as life, but it's not about how hard life hits you. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep on moving forward. So that's one of the things that we're really trying to do over here at Sacrificial Pawn Productions is take the hits and put in our time. I mean, if it came that easy, it wouldn't be worth it. It wouldn't give us the satisfaction of seeing my baby come to life. Going from a year ago when I had nothing but a script in my head and a vision, to seeing it come together, and the editor that we hired to put together the trailer, and the vision that I gave her, and what she did with it, and seeing it visually put together. There's a couple little tweaks here and there that I want to get done for the next one, but and add a little bit more storyline. But to see it starting to come together, and to my vision becoming a reality, dude, all these little things are such huge boosts to keep us going, that I can't explain it any other way, man. It's truly satisfying, and it's a pleasure to my heart and my soul to see this, and everybody doing their best to support us, and share us, and get us out there, and get us more work. And, I've got a couple of people in contacts right now to do some special effects work for, and some private things, and whatnot, with our special effects company, and the silicone molds that we do with the hyperrealism, and but to see the stuff come together, and visually watch it, and you'd be like, I created it. That pat on the back that I feel when something comes to fruition is totally worth every heartache and every blood, sweat, and tear that I put into this.
You see, I feel the same way. I know it's different levels with the whole podcasting thing, but I was just like, I just wanted to do it for fun. And my first episode I dropped this year, January 1st of this year, right? And my goal, I didn't even tell any. Well, I've said it ever since I've mentioned my goal since I seen it growing. But when I first started this podcast, I never told anybody what my goal was. My goal for the year for downloads was only 1,000 downloads. I was like, if I can get 1,000 downloads in 1 year, I'll be ecstatic. Right now, to this day, I'm looking at it right now, this very second. Which by the time this episode's out, hopefully it'll be more. But I'm at 3,693 downloads, and that's just not even a full year. And it's just recording with people, meeting people on here, sharing, and pretty much, it's not like I'm not on any, some podcasts are on network. I'm not on a podcasting network which shares my stuff out. This is just between me and then the fans that I have and the friends and family that I have that just helps me get it out there. And that right there is humbling and amazing to me right there.
No, absolutely, man. I remember when I did your show. I think I did episode 6 or 7.
Yep.
Of your show, and I remember I kept bugging you about it afterwards. Once it dropped, it was like, well, how many views are we at? How many views are we at? How many downloads? How many downloads? Where are we at? Where are we at? And it was like, 15, 20, 30, 40, 50. It was like, 60. It hit 62, dude. And I was like, holy shit, man, that's fucking awesome. Hell yeah, dude. We got 62 downloads. Right on. And now to see you at 3,600 is like, what, dude, that's so sick, bro. I'm so stoked for you, man, and I'm so proud of you, dude. I mean, you have stuck it out, and and pushed through, and just kept promoting, and the same thing that I'm doing with this, is the self promotion, and the self drive and determination to achieve something, and making a goal, and then setting another goal and reaching it, and just keep going, and pushing yourself for the love of it, like we talked about.
Exactly, and it's like, again, I have to thank everybody that's download, which I do. I try to do on most of my episodes. I thank everybody that listens. I thank everybody that likes, shares, downloads, comments, whatever. Because it's not just me that's doing this. Like it's me and whoever recording, and me putting it out there. Yes, but it's you guys, my listeners, that are the ones getting me all these downloads, and just I love it. It's fun as hell, and I always welcome people. Another thing I do with the podcast, I always welcome people on here. If you want to come in here and talk anything to do with horror, whether that's you could be coming on here on my podcast to promote your own podcast, your movies, whatever, talking about a random movie, just having a random horror conversations or whatever. As long as it has to do with horror, anybody's welcome on here. Just send me an email. I tell them that, and we go from there. And I've been getting a few people here and there. It's just lately I've been having to push things back, especially when this con was coming up. I was pushing a lot of things back just to prepare for this con. It wasn't anything personal. I was just like, look, I want to get this, has to be like my number one priority right now. Promoting this con, getting certain people on for the talking about the con, and now that that's over with, I have a lot of stuff recorded that my brother's mixing down, producing for me that I can get out there within the next few days and go from there.
Right.
But I'm gonna be getting back to recording with other people again, and just it's just so fun though. Like if I could do this all day, every day, I would. but I have to get up and go to work all day, every day. So,
Right.
there's
Hey,
those,
you know what
there's
though?
those.
You know what though, brother? Like you've said with us, as far as growing and and people tossing money at you and stuff like that to do what you love to do. I truly believe in my heart because of what you do, that you will get to a point where this is what you do for your job and for your living to support your family, man. Your passion, your drive for it. I'm honored to be a true friend, of you.
I really appreciate that, and I'm honored to be a friend of yours and just someone that's doing my favorite genre of movies, horror movies. Like you're out there doing that. You're out there writing your script, just being in. I think that's just awesome. And I like that I'm a part of it as far as helping you guys push it out there, promoting and all that, and then just I'm able to talk to the person that's in the actual movie that wrote this actual movie. It's not like I'm just watching you on TV, like, oh, that guy's real cool. I'm like, no, I'm talking to this real cool guy.
Yeah, like regularly, dude. I mean, we keep in contact. I mean, at least once a week.
Definitely.
Uh, nah, dude, it's truly awesome to to watch each other grow, and I mean, it's you've gotten us a lot of fans, and promoted us a lot, and again, I mean, I can't thank you enough for that, but uh,
It's just, yeah, it's at the end of the day too. Like I said, I have fun with it all. Like I just with this whole podcasting thing, I'm not gonna say I don't take it serious as far as like trying to construct a good episode. But at the same time, I don't take it serious. Like if somebody comes in here and they want to talk horror and just have a funny conversation, that's fine with me. I don't. I love to laugh. I feel like laughter helps. Laughter helps on these podcasts. Nobody wants to hear you just talking back and forth, all serious, and that'll be boring to me. That'll be very boring after a while. Just a serious conversation, and that's not my personality. I still don't Sam. I still do not take notes when it comes to reviewing movies and all that. It's not how my brain works. I just
oh, dude, I fucking love it, man.
what I do.
Yeah, dude, it's you got to go with the flow, and if you take yourself too seriously, it kind of drabs out the rest of life, and so being able to laugh and cut up and joke around, and it's man, that's what's entertaining to me, dude, is show me the good times you're having in life, show me what it can be, not don't get me wrong. I mean, I'm there for people that are going through their struggles, but I'm not, consistently on about the drab of life. I mean,
Yeah,
I want the good things in life, man. I want the fun and the happiness and the joy and the peace. I don't want all the bullshit. Yeah, we got to go through there to get it, but I don't want to sit in it too long either.
I I'm with you on that. And again, back to my whole thing where I was talking about like interviews and stuff. Another way I
Yeah.
try to do this podcast is like I try to do it as far as if I know you or not, just two friends sitting down having a conversation. Simple as that. I don't want it to be an interview where somebody's nervous, where you're nervous or I'm nervous about like what you're gonna say. It's just sit down, have a conversation. That's why usually when I record too, before I start any episode, I usually, especially if it's somebody new, but even people I've recorded with plenty of times, I'll try to conversate with them for like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, however long, until once I already know you, it'll be like maybe 5 minutes. I'm like, okay, let's go record. But
Right.
like the first time we recorded together, we talked for about 15 minutes first, just to kind of get to know each other. And then we recorded, and it went great.
Yeah. It was I think it was like what 2 hours and 10 minutes or some shit like that, man.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
And then shit, just the other day, what was it Friday? I believe Friday night, right? Get home, hang out with the wife, wherever she goes to sleep. And my guys, Greg and John from the Nightmare Shop, I hit them up on Facebook. I was like, hey, you guys busy? Like, nah, why? What's up? I was like, you feel like recording? They were like, sure, let's go. Like, this was just a random thing, and I'm cool with them like that. They're just like, fuck it, why not? Let's record. We recorded for a good hour and a half, 2 hours the other night. Just a random horror chat, just bullshit. And I was telling them about the con and stuff, asking them what was going
Yeah.
on with them, and just it was so fun though. I love that. I have that connection
No,
with people like that.
that's awesome, bro. Hey, one thing I learned about the Jeff and Janky show is that they use a process that their video feeds
Hmm.
automatically, as soon as the show is done and they cut it, automatically uploads to YouTube.
Oh, nice.
So, I can get you in contact with them, and you guys can talk and see what how they do what they do, and because it'd be cool to see not only just listen to be able to download the podcast, but to be able to watch and have it immediately go to download, so that way you don't have to worry too much about the producing of it and and edits and that stuff. So something to help you grow and push forward to the next level.
I'll definitely check that. I'll definitely appreciate that when we're done with this episode. Shoot me their contact, whatever you got to do to get that. But I do want to start doing videos actually. When I get another computer, a newer computer that can handle it, what I wanted to start doing was just like I was even gonna start doing like YouTube live videos when I'm doing a podcast with people. Have them on their live with their camera, me on my live with my camera, and have that go
Right.
right out. Share it on Facebook, but still also put it out on my podcast platform. Send that recording to my brother so he can mix it down and do all that good stuff and still put it on a podcast platform. But also, if somebody wants to watch it on YouTube live, if they want to jump in and join the conversation, or either be typing or talking or whatever, that's one of my next. That's actually one of my next plans. And whenever I get a
Nice.
computer, which again will be
Yeah. Oh yeah.
fun as hell. I used to do Facebook Live videos a lot, which was fun. Just sitting on here. A couple times I even went live on from my computer as I was recording a podcast. But
Right.
I'm borrowing a laptop right now, and it's a little bit slower than the
Okay.
laptop I had because the about maybe a month ago now, right? I was getting ready to actually. Hey, I think I was getting ready to record with you. It was either you or my friend Matt. I know it was you and my cousin Jared a couple weeks ago. I was gonna record
Uh-huh.
with you, and the laptop crashed that freaking day. That morning, I'm getting ready to set
Oh,
up, and it wouldn't turn on.
yeah. We were supposed to do that on a Saturday, I think.
Yeah, and my cousin, I hit up my one cousin. I was like, "Yo, can I borrow your laptop for a little bit? Because mine." And he said, "Borrow it as long as you need it until you get another one." I was like, "Thank you,
Yeah.
appreciate it."
Right. Well, hey, if there's any friends of Horror Sir Sturdy out there that want to help donate to the cause and get him hooked up with some good shit, I would highly recommend that. And dude, I will help with donations on that one.
I appreciate it, man. We need to also help out the normal terror. We all want to see that. So go over there when that merch is out online. Go buy that merch. Tell them I sent you. And yeah, get that awesome shirt. Get that beer
Yeah.
koozie.
We actually have two designs that we're putting out for the shirt. We have the Sacrificial Pawn Productions logo, the Reaper,
Hmm.
the Pawn and the Reaper, and then we also have the Normal Terror title screen that we're doing. So we have two different versions of the shirt. They're split evenly across the board with between small to extra large. Again, an anonymous donor paid for it, so I couldn't complain too much or ask for too much from the printing company.
Mhm.
But we are going from small to extra large, everything in between, and we're selling the shirts out at $25 a piece.
It's not bad.
Yeah, so they're screen printed, so they'll last. It's a good high quality product, so we're really looking forward to that. So if anybody wants to pre-order and get make sure that you get one this round, make sure you hit me or Aaron up, and we'll go from there.
That's freaking awesome. As soon as those things are online, definitely share them, put them in the group and everything, and I'll make sure I share them out there too, so people will get those going. Because I definitely want to see you guys grow from that. Now with the normal terror shirt, is it like the poster?
I wish I could do that, but because again, somebody donated the cost of the products. It's just the name Normal Terror across the front.
Okay, okay, that's cool. That's still cool, but I know those other shirts. I know the other normal terror shirts will be coming soon too, when the time's right.
Oh, absolutely. As soon as we get a little bit of a budget for managing and merchandising and promoting a brand, we're definitely going to get some poster shirts out and some miscellaneous stuff here and there of different pictures. I actually want to do a contest on the page, and I want to ask the fans what they want. You know,
Nice.
what do you guys want from us? What kind of merchandise do you guys want? Do you want still shots from the movie? Do you want, a printing of, of part of the script? I mean, what do you guys want, from us? What can we do to satisfy your needs for merchandise?
I actually have an idea that's just coming off the top of my head right now. Besides the T-shirts, and I'll say besides like the winter beanies with your logo on the front of the beanie, is those enamel pins are pretty popular, especially in the horror community.
Yeah, that would be cool as shit. You know anybody that makes some enamel pins? You let me know.
I I only know a couple websites. I have a few in my email. I'll look it up and send them to you because I was actually thinking of doing some. It's maybe by next year's con. I'm gonna try to have some to hand out to a few people. Maybe you'll definitely be getting one, obviously. But for the horror research 30 thing, some of it, enamel pins and all that, because a lot of people like them. Shit, my wife bought a bunch from the con last weekend, and she put them like all over her jean jacket. So she'll start
Yeah.
when we start. We have them on a board right now, but when we go to cons, she's gonna put them on. When we go to a horror convention, I should say, she's gonna put them on her jacket like that. Just
Speaking of jackets, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but speaking of jackets, one of the things we are getting in our merchandise is we're getting 300 patches.
awesome.
So we will have patches that you guys can put on your jackets, your hats, your beanies, your whatever the hell you want to put it on. And so yeah, we have both logos going out for that. So
I'm gonna have to purchase both of those logos for the jacket, for the patches and the shirts because I eventually want to start off some sort of a jacket like that too. Maybe like a plain Jane jacket, where I just put a bunch of horror related stuff on there, pins, the pins, patches, whatever. But
oh
that's
yeah, like an old school metal jacket, or a little punk jacket. Hell yeah.
that's that's great though, man. It's I'm glad to see you guys are getting your merchandise stuff getting out, getting that started, and I'm just excited to see where this is gonna go, where it's gonna take you guys.
Man, you know what, dude? We're as humble as I try to be sometimes. I got to put this out there, man. But what I want to do, honestly, bro, is I want the crown. That's my goal, is to take the crown. I want to be the movie that everybody's talking about. I want to be the vision that everybody's scared of. To feel like, you know what, man, that actually scared the hell out of me. Not the gore or any of that shit, but psychological aspects of it, because it could be real.
Hmm. And
That's what I want.
I want that for you guys too. I want you guys to be up there. I want you guys to be the top thing because shit, I can be like, listen, you got.
Right?
I'm like, listen, I can get you his
Yeah.
autograph. I know him personally, type of deal. Like, no, you don't. Like, no, I know this guy personally. He's on the podcast. I can get him on the podcast right now.
Right?
That would
Dude,
be
hey,
awesome.
all you got to do is shoot me a message or shoot me a fucking phone call, dude, and I will be there anytime. You know that.
Oh hell yeah, I know that. You say it to me all the time. You said it to me the last time we were supposed to record. Like hell yeah, anytime. And of course that didn't
Yep.
happen because the computer decided to, mess up. But hey, it happens. It didn't stop me or slow me down. Slowed me down a little bit, but it didn't stop me. I'll say that.
But hey, let me interject real quick, dude, because I think this is kind of important, just to let people know, what kind of passion that we have for this project. Okay, I was offered $4 million to buy us out completely. Okay, and they were going to take every rights to every single thing that we had. Okay, and recast it with with A-listers, and I turned it down. So believe in this project when I say that, yeah, it might have been a stupid decision as far as business goes, but I believe in this project so much that I turned down 4 million to continue this project and do it the way I think it should be done.
Dang, that's shit. I take my hat off for you that, and I don't even think that was a stupid idea, because I'll tell. Okay, podcast. I listen to a podcaster slash radio host, Charlemagne the God. He's on the Breakfast Club, and he was talking about when he was coming up. He he said he was talking about how he's been fired from radio shows and all this. Is the point of the story. And he had an opportunity with with the Wendy Williams show. I don't know if it was TV or radio. I believe it was TV though. He wrote about this in
Mm-hmm.
his book also. But anyway, she offered him a job, and she was saying her and her husband offered him a job, and they were saying, "Listen, we can't pay you right now. We can't pay you at all. But what we can do for you is you can live with us for free, but we cannot pay you." And he took that opportunity, and his thing was, You know, when you get opportunities in life, whatever it is, and when it's your passion, you can't always look at that
Hmm.
financial goal right away. You got to go for, you got to go for that passion. You can't look at the money up front because it's always going to get better for one, and it's just
Right.
you got to take that risk. If it's something you really want to do, you have to take that risk. If it's something you believe in, and like with you guys, you really believe in this movie as well as I do, you take that four
Yeah.
million. They take the rights to it. They'll change stuff up. They'll take out what you really wanted in that movie, along with you guys being a part of it. Give you that money.
Right.
They'll make a big. They might even put it out there, make more than the 4 million they gave you guys off of your idea versus you guys doing this later on down the road. You might not get that 4 million off the first movie, but then people are gonna listen. Look what he did. Look at what he did with this budget with this movie. Now imagine what these guys can do with this movie with this budget that they're doing, and then it'll keep
Right.
growing like that. Versus, hey, here's my idea. You take it and make it yours. No, don't sell your ideas and give somebody else your credit, no matter how great it is.
No, absolutely. And for me, I mean, it's like, I truly considered it, and I mean, because, again, the financial struggles in my personal life, but, I believe in this project, and, I didn't want it to be wiped out completely. I would have to pull everything off social media, and I would have to, get rid of everything that we've put out. And, yeah, I mean, I could have paid off my actors, and they probably would have appreciated it, the percentage of the contracts that we had signed when we first got going. But, I didn't feel that was fair to this project. I mean, in my heart, I would have felt like a sellout.
Hmm.
And I just, yeah, it would have given me a budget to go on my next one and fund it myself and do it the way I wanted to on my next one, but I still don't get any credit. And it's, for me, it's more about completing a project rather than handing it off and letting someone else do it, other than the way that I think it should be done.
I again, excuse me. I agree with you with that. And I was actually, excuse me. Um, I was talking to one of my friends because he's on a podcast. He does a podcast and he's on a horror network. And I was like,
Right.
I was like, how'd you get on the podcast horror network that you're on? He told me he got me in contact with the guy. I talked to him. I sent the guy a link to my podcast. He still hasn't gotten back to me as yet as far as checking it out. But then I was thinking about it. I was like, I don't even know if I really want to be on a network as far as
Right.
someone else's network. And I was like, nothing against it because I know it'll give me more listeners and downloads and all that. But I was just thinking, I was like, if one, I don't want to pay anybody to share my stuff because I can do that myself, and I have plenty of people that do that for me just because they enjoy it as much as I do. And that's not even trying to be cheap or anything. I'm just like, I can do that on my own. And
Right.
excuse me. And two, I'm looking at it like, if anything, maybe later on down the road, I'll start my own network and have people come on my network and go from there instead of doing it the other way around, going on someone else's network where they're making money off of your hard work, your dedication to it, because you got to pay them to put them on, pay them. Say it's,
Right.
I don't care if it's $10 a month. Say you're paying this person $10 a month for them to share your stuff the same way you do it anyway, and it'll just be on their website and their network. I'm like, I can do this same thing myself and help others out if I charge them or not, but help others out later on down the road if I decide to go down that route, or I can just stay independent how I am for now, and I mean, I'm sure you can do and say as you please on these other networks, but I know on my own thing, I can do and say as I please with this podcast, and I want to keep it like that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I don't want to, again, I'm a bit outside the box with my thinking anyway. So, for me to have to, relinquish, that kind of stuff, it just, yeah, I'm not okay with that, and, like I said, man, I really gave it an honest consideration as to, what I think we should do, and I discussed it with, with my partner, Steve, and, I just, as much as I really need the money right now, I decided that this project is going to be a much bigger thing than that, so, ultimately we decided that we were going to, bypass on that, thank you for the offer, but, we're going to continue on doing our thing our way. Thank you.
And again, I don't blame you for that. I don't blame you for that one bit. It's one thing if they want to buy it from you. It's another thing if like, hey, we want to. If we can't buy it from you, how about we give you X amount to back you, and just maybe get a little bit credit for backing. That is different. That's a little different, I guess, because it's like you're helping support it, you might get a little percentage from what we get out of the movie, but you're not stealing, you're not owning my rights. You're not owning the idea, and you're not replacing my whole cast with. I don't care if it's A list, B list, whatever. You're not replacing my whole cast who's been busting their ass just as I am, working hard on this project just for a come up, just for a quick buck.
Right. And again, I mean, I'm trying to build an empire. I mean, look at Happy Madison Productions. Adam Sandler. I mean, almost all of his actors and cast and crew and everything is in almost every single one of his movies. In some form or fashion or another. And that's kind of the same thing that I'm trying to do in a different aspect. Is I want to build a team around me that's going to be there. And that believes in what we do and can pitch ideas and thoughts and all that kind of stuff. So that's what I want. I don't want just that initial hey, what are we doing? It's oh well, we're gonna write this and we're gonna get going on it, and, enough to get people interested, and then we're gonna sell it off and let them do it, and just walk away with cash. I'm not about that easy buck. I've never had it that way, and I'm not going to start with it now. I believe in what we do, and I believe in my team, and that's where we're going to roll with it.
Another thing with that too is like say you did take that route, you made this, you made this great project, and then you sell it to them. And then you built this. Not only did you start the project, but you also built a fan base, and this fan base is looking forward to what you guys are going to want to put out. So say you sell it to this bigger company or bigger production company, and they take it over, and then they change a lot of stuff about it. That a lot of the fans, like the little bit of trailer that we got to see or the script I got to see, they changed a lot of that out. The stuff that you guys, that everybody loves about it, they changed that, and it's just like I wasn't expecting this. I was expecting this for it to go this way. And for me talking to you, I know you're expecting to go a certain way too, to where you'd be like, I wish, you'd be happy with the money, obviously. Anybody would, because it would help out a lot of stuff. But then when you see the finished product, you might be like, I wish I never did that. What the hell is this? What is this that they put on the movie? What is this they put on the screen?
Well, and I mean, would they change the title of the movie? Would they change the synopsis of the movie? Would they change? Obviously they changed the poster, but the special effects. Would they change the storyline? What? I just I couldn't live with that on my conscience. Knowing that we've worked so hard to get where we are and we've fought tooth and nail to get here. To have somebody else come in and do it. The way they their ABC process to selling and making movies.
Yeah, everything, all the greatness is gonna come in due time. I can tell because you guys, again, you're working so freaking hard at it, fighting tooth and nail, like you're saying. And I mean, there's bumps and bruises in the road. There's gonna be some rough patches, but when it's all said and done, you guys are gonna be like, we fucking did this. We did this. We completed this project. It came out amazing, and that right there would just be great. So rewarding right there in its own.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. And it's funny because my son's mother, Nikki, recently found one of my first co-starring role in a feature film. Is a film called 4-1 Liberation Front by Bill Rice and Magic Hour Productions, and that was truly the film that gave me the bug to want to write, produce, and direct and act and all that other stuff. Was that film, and I had such fun with it. We it was a really tight crew, and we really came together on that set and had a lot of fun. But what I was getting at was that that's actually on Amazon Prime right now.
Nice.
It's called the 4-1 Liberation Front, and I had my business manager watch it yesterday, and she's like, "Oh my God, this is fucking great, man! This is such a funny. It's a comedy,
Okay.
and it's a phenomenal film. So if you have Amazon Prime, go check out 4-1 Liberation Front. It was my first co-starring role, and you'll get to see me with my long hair hillbilly attitude.
Long hair hillbilly attitude. That's that 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 alone right there is just funny. Oh my god.
Right.
Because I mean, shit. As long as I've known you, as far as the social media stuff goes, you've been bald. So seeing you with long hair,
Right.
that right there is gonna get me laughing. Like, what the hell? You sure that's you,
Oh,
Sam?
dude, I haven't had hair in 10 years now, man. I've been, pretty much bald for, for 10 years. But yeah, before that, dude, it was down in the middle of my back. I had beautiful hair, man. I loved it. But once I started losing it up front, bro, I wasn't gonna do that whole, 5 or 6 head, and that chrome dome up there with the, the ponytail in the back, the George Carlin ponytail. So I had to. I've always told myself once I started losing it, if I wasn't lucky enough to keep it, it would go bald. So, but I think it works with the different types of characters that I portray. In different things. It's again, Monday we're shooting the butcher. Um,
Nice.
and it's a father son scene where I work for this killer who has mad cow disease, and it's kind of a psychological thing where he his dead mother told him to inject the meats that he puts out there with his blood, so that everybody contracts mad cow disease. And so our scene is basically Sammy gets to kill somebody,
Oh.
which is awesome. But it's we're what's that?
No, I was just saying. Oh, he gets to. That's awesome.
Yeah, he's gonna kill somebody with a hammer. So and then he's gonna kind of be this little cannibal that eats part of them. So it's definitely something interesting.
I I got to see that too. Anything you guys are involved in, I want to see that.
Yeah.
But you are right about
So
the whole bald thing with these crazy ass rolls with shit. Normal tear is a
right.
perfect example. That poster, like yeah,
Yeah.
if you'd have had that long hair, couldn't have taken that picture as serious.
No, yeah, absolutely. I mean, unless it was in a ponytail, but again, it's just the way it was. And it's funny because I was talking to Bill Rice, who was the director of 4-1 Liberation Front, and he told me that the reason I got the role was because of my hair. And when I was getting ready to cut it, I actually, was in contact with him pretty regularly. I've lost contact with him. I would love to hook up with him again. But, I asked his advice, and he said, you know what, honestly, I think your hair is your moneymaker. I think you're making a mistake in your acting career if you shave your head. And I took that into consideration, but, again, it was, I did it anyway because, I was losing it and I didn't want to be that guy. But if you don't know who Bill Rice is, he's done a lot of things. And one of the things he's probably most notable for was he directed Leprechaun 2.
Oh, interesting.
So, yeah.
Very interesting. Gonna have to try to get in contact with him again.
Yeah, definitely, man. Hey, if anybody out there in horror with Sir Sturdy Land, happens to know who he is or what he's doing now, and, can get me in contact with him, man. Hey, I'm all about it.
Yeah, that would be great right there. That'd be real great. Speaking of
Yeah, that would be awesome. But
the Leprechaun movies, are you? First of all, you know they're coming out with another one, and second of all, are you a fan of that series, that franchise?
it's. I think every different franchise has its good parts and its bad parts. I think I think it goes back to again what we were talking about before as far as the rebranding, simply because it has a name and a following. I would like to see more independent stuff come out. But again, it's if they can do it right, if they can shoot it right, if the storyline's right, if the special effects is right, if I think if they really have a passion and a belief in what they're doing, I think they can do it right.
Mm-hmm.
I think they have to have people on board who really believe in what they're doing and not just doing it for a paycheck.
I hear you. I hear you there. I'm looking
I,
up your
I think you
movie.
can tell I think you can tell the difference. In a project that they did for the paycheck and a project that they truly believed in.
So true, so true, and that brings us back to you not selling the whole normal terror story. Like you believe in it, you really wanted to come out there, you really want to do it, and you want to be behind it. You didn't sell it for that money because it's like it's your baby. You don't want to get rid of that, and you want to know you were a part of it. You want to know you did it, and you want the fans to know you guys did it. So again, I respect you guys for
Well,
not selling that.
recently, recently I put up a post because again I am a single father. I have full custody of physical custody of my 14-year-old son. But I recently put up a post saying that I'm not a baby daddy. I'm a father. And I think that's really important in the aspect of taking that psychological twist towards this movie is what you're saying is it being my baby, because I want to raise and nurture this thing, and I want it to grow up to be the best possible success story it can be. And if I was to give that out and adopt out my baby, to somebody else, then I become that baby daddy rather than the father that I should be.
Exactly. I'm gonna have to check out this movie or tell me. Excuse me. I'm gonna have to check out this movie or tell me about when you had hair. I believe it when I see it. When I see it.
Hey, dude, you can go into Google right now and type in 4-1 Liberation Front, and you can watch the trailer. It's like a 2.5 minute trailer. It's fucking awesome. But
No, I'm gonna do you one better, Sam. Here's what I'm gonna do. And again, this episode's gonna be out later. I may even watch it tonight. I'm gonna watch this movie as soon as I see you on the TV. I'm taking a picture of it and I'm posting it and tagging you in it.
right on, dude. Hell
And I will
yeah.
tell people to go check that out. Say this guy had hair once.
Right? How scary is that?
Where did it all go wrong?
Right. Dude, I became such a horrific character that even my hair ran away.
Like, shit, I'm not putting up with this.
Right? Oh shit.
But yeah, I'm real serious though about the whole. If you guys have, excuse me, damn. If you guys do have this movie done, by the time I go to the con next year, before then, I definitely want to bring it out there and try to show it on the screener. And would love if you guys can come out here, be on the panel, and show the screener and all that. I will get in contact with the gentleman who runs the con and do all I can on my side.
Well, I'm hoping to have a Halloween of next year release, but I'll tell you this right now, and I'll put it out there for everybody to hear. If we have this film done, the final cut, before the HorrorCon next year, I will promise you that I will sell my son if I have to get there to be there for that screener.
You hear that? You hear that, ladies and gentlemen? He won't sell the movie, but he'll sell his son.
Right? That's a joke, by the way.
Oh, I know.
No, I know. I just have to put in a disclaimer because somebody's going to take that out of context.
They will. Someone might try to really buy him. Someone might be like, "You need to bring this guy in charge. He's trying to sell his kids." Like, it's just a joke, people. It's a joke. That's what happens on the podcast.
Right? So how many emails did you get about this podcast?
Recently, it's been kind of quiet, but I've been going back and forth with people, just kind of just telling them that I'm busy with the con. But when I record, I'll reach out. I'll do a post. I'll reach out and see who wants to. I just see who wants to record, and usually it's my guy Matt or my guys Greg and John from the Nightmare Shop. Those are like my top three right now. Just because everybody has their lives, everybody has families and all that, so they're like the ones that are free. Like Matt, me and him record just about every other weekend. And now my cousin Jared, he records me he's recorded me twice so far, but he's going to start recording me pretty much like every Sunday, because what I want to start doing, and I did put this out there already, I got to just, besides talking to my brother / producer to get stuff out there a little bit faster, is I want to start dropping episodes on Mondays and Wednesdays. So that's why I'm trying to record. I've been trying to record at least once a week, if not more. If I can record twice a week, beautiful. That way I have more content out there. Like right now I probably have like 8 episodes recorded, maybe 10, between 8 and 10 episodes that are recorded that aren't out yet. And that's not including this one right here. So I'm just trying to get that content built up, and then so I can just drop them out there and keep going and going, going with it. And I have so much freaking fun with it. It's almost like a dream in a sense, where it's like you just get somebody together to talk horror with you for 2 hours or whatever the case may be. And that's pretty much all it is, whether it be a random horror chat or a movie review. We're just talking horror and having a great time about it, joking around, laughing like we do in every freaking episode. And I love it. I really do.
Yeah. No, man, that's phenomenal, man. I love listening to your show, and whether you believe it or not, dude, I actually listen to your podcast pretty regularly. So,
That's
you know,
awesome.
I'm excited to hear everything that drops, and it's I don't just share your stuff and get you out there and come on the show and stuff, but I do actually listen to what you have to say, and it's really cool, man. I respect the hell out of you.
I appreciate that. You know what's funny too is like I've asked other podcasters like, hey, when you guys are done, not as far as when you're mixing the podcast, because some guys, damn it, some guys they mix their own podcast down or like between the two or three of them or whatever. For most podcasters who I associate with that horror podcast, it's usually a team of them. Like mine, yes, I have my team, but this is my podcast. You know what I mean? But some of them usually there's like two or three guys that are doing it, and one guy will be the one guy that'll mix it down, record it, whatever. But
Right.
I ask them all the time, like, do you guys listen to your podcast? Like, once you guys have it mixed down and you put it out, do you listen to it? 9 times out of 10, they say no. Every episode that I download that I put out to the public, I download it my damn self and listen to it. And it's funny because it'll be a few weeks old, so I forget what I was saying in it. And I'll just listen to it at work, laughing my ass off at my desk, like, holy shit, we said that?
Right.
And I love it.
Yeah.
And some people are like, I get tired of hearing my own voice, this, that, and the third, which I get. And I don't know if it's cockiness, but I like hearing myself. I like hearing the conversations I had on this podcast with others. It's fun, it's funny, and it helps get me through my day at work or wherever I'm doing. I listen to my podcast and I listen to others, and just you know,
No, hell no, man. That's awesome. It's like, dude, I never get tired of watching the the stuff that I'm doing right now. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've gone back through and watched the interviews or the the listen to the podcasts or the radio shows that I've done, and and thinking, because for me it's about evolving. It's about seeing what I think I can on, because I am so much more hypercritical of myself than anybody else could ever be. So for me it's about adjusting what I'm saying and finding out what I can do better, what I can how I can present myself better for for my fans, to get myself across as quickly as possible with as much information as possible, to keep people excited and entertained, and and wanting to follow us and go through, and keep going.
I'm actually with you 1,000,000% on that. I listen to my own podcast for an entertainment standpoint. Shit, it's a cheat sheet to get to a couple more downloads for myself, if you want to look at it like that. But also just to critique myself, like, hey, maybe I can do this a little better, maybe I can do that a little better. And one thing I
Right.
do, this is one thing back from the con I do. Like people are asking about how much do you edit out of your podcast. I told them I was like, my brother edits it for me, and I said, since day one, as far as like if as long as there's no like big pauses and all that through the podcast, or there's dead air, I was like, I don't cut anything out. And I said the reason why I do that is because I want people to feel like when I want people to come on, I want people to feel that this is just a regular conversation. If me and you were having a conversation, just sitting out on the street, drinking some soda, eating some fried chicken, we're not gonna just say, mid sentence, you're not gonna just start all over with the whole conversation because you stumbled. We're just gonna keep talking. You'll fix what you
Yeah.
stumbled. You just keep going. And I'm like, I want to do that with this podcast. It's just a friendly, fun environment. Just keep talking about horror and shit. If one of us says something stupid or one of us goes and takes a shit for a half hour, the other one's talking to herself, hey, it happens.
Oh my God, dude. I'm so glad you brought that up, dude. That was so funny. I couldn't believe you left that whole fucking thing in there, me sitting there just buying time while I was waiting on you to come back from the bathroom, bro. I
I
was so stupid.
I had to leave it in there because when I came back upstairs, right, all I hear is you talking and laughing. I'm like, what the hell? I'm thinking to myself, what the hell is so funny? So, you told me what was going on, and I was like, I have to keep this in here. Like, it would be,
Right.
it's one of those things. If nothing else, anytime me and you record, or say 10 years down the line, we'll still look back at that moment and laugh at it and discuss it. I'm like, no, this is really still in the episode. You can go check it out now, which it really still
Yeah.
is in the episode. So go check it out, people.
No, dude, it's like, I was sitting there, I was like trying not to like be bored and shit, I was just like, okay, well, he's down doing his thing, whatever, he's got to go to the bathroom. I'm gonna just sit here, and we've got people listening, and we're recording, and at some point, he's probably gonna edit this out, he's gonna cut it out, and it's just miscellaneous shit. So I figured I might as well just entertain myself.
Yeah. And you know you don't makes that moment funnier now that I think about it. At no moment, like
What's
I
that?
could on my end when I was recording with the program that I used, or actually
Uh-huh.
we were using something different to record, but I never thought to just hit pause and come back. Not at all. I could have easily hit pause. We could have lost. I mean, that funniness would have been lost in hindsight. But I could have easily just hit pause and came back. Like the other night, I wasn't. I had to go take a piss real quick, and I hit pause when I was recording with the guys from the Nightmare Shop. And the thing is, when I record with them, we're always recording together because they live out there in St. Louis or whatever, so they're together a lot. And these two were like, I come upstairs, these two were talking and laughing. I was like, I should have just left it fucking recording. I don't know why I didn't, because you guys were at least conversating with each other. I was like,
Yeah.
next time I do this and I'm recording with multiple people, I'm just gonna let it record and just you guys can keep on with the conversation. I'll be back.
No, hell yeah. And that's one of the things I look back on and I listen to, and it's like, I can be one funny, entertaining son of a bitch sometimes.
Even better, it was by yourself too, which made it funnier. You're sitting
Yeah,
there talking to yourself,
right?
watching the lines bounce. I'm like, hey, you know,
Yeah. Yeah, it's one of those comedy skits, because not all of my films are horror. We've talked about that before.
Mhm.
I do have 6 other projects. Only 2 of them are horror. So out of the 7, 2 are horror. I have a psychological thriller. I have a drama, and I have a comedy and an action film. So
nice.
a little all over the board for me. It just depends on the mood I'm in as to what we get going on. So.
No, that's good though. That's awesome. And I I have so much fun with this again with this podcast, and I've made well you for one. I made some friends out of it, and the guys that keep bringing up Greg and John, like I met them on here, made some friends out of that just from talking about horror movies. Who would have thought? Like my friend Matt, I met him up here at the Empire State Con, made friends with him,
Right.
and he's on a lot. And real quick, the funny thing about Matt is I've seen him at Scaricon a couple of years ago. Like
Uh-huh.
the first year I went, first week, because every year he didn't bring it this year, but he has a gremlin that he carries in one of those, the baby carrying things you wear on your chest. But he would have
Yeah.
a gremlin in it at the con on Saturdays. I've taken pictures with him, and
Okay.
we never, just hey, can I take a picture? Da 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 da. We didn't even speak until this year at the con, but I've seen him at the con plenty of times, and now, like I said, he's one of the guys that'll come on and help me record when we're both free and shit. And it's just amazing what horror does in this
Yeah.
aspect of it.
No, it really is, man. It's a very tight knit community, and everybody's got varying views on what they like and what they don't, But horror is one of those communities that is, really supportive of each other too.
It really is. And I've only met as far as you want to say, maybe douchebag, asshole, jerk, dickhead, all that kind of crap. I've only met one. Didn't meet him, but tell you real quick at a con, this con up here in Albany, there was a guy, which we have a running joke now, me and Matt on the podcast, where actually the episode didn't drop yet. I got to get that out there so you guys can hear what I'm talking about. But the dude was wearing a red hoodie. So we'll say if you hear red hoodie, that don't be like red hoodie. It's don't be like this guy. Make a long story short, he had a big ass suitcase full of shit he wanted to get signed by Robert England. That I don't care. I don't have a problem with that. You want to get it signed, whatever you want to sell it, that's your own business. I don't care about that. What got us,
Uh-huh.
and we didn't say anything to him because I didn't want to start an argument, all that other bullshit. I'm having a good day, but we were just talking. You've heard me on the podcast. I'll watch any horror movie, whether it be a B-rated movie, a cheesy ass movie, or something like Halloween. And
Right.
so we were talking about this movie called not Normal Terror. Thanks, Killing.
Oh, I
Damn.
appreciate the plug, brother.
We will be talking about that when that comes out. Don't worry. But which matter of fact, I'll say this right here, ladies and gentlemen. This will be the very first podcast when Normal Terror comes out. As far as the full movie, you're gonna get the review on this podcast first, and you're also gonna get the stars on that podcast first. Just had to throw that out
Hell,
there.
you know what, dude? Hey, when this movie comes out and we do the first screening of it or whatever, however that goes with distribution, I want to get the entire cast and crew together to be on your podcast.
I will love that. I want that too. I want that just as bad as you Whether that be out on the panel next year or just shit, we're recording like you're on the West Coast, I'm on the East Coast, we're recording how we are now. I'm cool with that. I can't wait. But back to this red hoodie guy, right? So we're talking about the movie Thanksgiving. It's about a killer turkey, like literally about a turkey going around killing people. Which hilarious movie. I love it. Beautiful Thanksgiving movie. But anyway, the guy jumped into the conversation. Which if I'm talking horror with a bunch of people, I don't care if you butt into the conversation, but don't be a dickhead about it. Like he was just like, "How can you guys watch that kind of movie? Why would you even waste your time?" I only watch movies like Halloween, Nightmare on Elm Street, the big name horror movies. I only watch the big name movies. I wouldn't waste my time with the B-rated movie and blah 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 blah. We didn't pay him any mind, just kind of ignored him. But the funny thing is, couple months ago, but when we found out Scarecon was going on and I was going to be at Scarecon bringing the podcast, me and Matt decided to do a podcast, just a random horror chat about do's and don'ts at a con. What to expect at a con for first time people. And one of the don'ts at a con was we were like, don't be a douchebag, blah blah. Don't be like Red Hoodie, where people are having a good conversation about it. And it just pretty much downing people for liking a certain movie. Like I don't care what horror movie it is. I'm just saying horror because that's what this is about. If I don't like the movie, I'll tell you I don't like the movie. Even if I give it a negative rating, I'll tell you I don't like the movie. I'll tell you why I don't like the movie. But I'm not going to judge you or say, why would you waste your time? I wouldn't waste my time type of deal. Like bashing you for liking that movie. I might talk shit jokingly, but I won't down you for liking something. If that's your favorite movie, for example, that's your favorite movie. I don't have to like it. We can debate about it as far as like, hey, I thought this movie sucked because blah 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 blah. But I'm not going to say, hey, how can you like this? I wouldn't waste my time with this. I'm pretty much like I'm too good to watch this movie. I'm like, no, the fuck you're not.
Right.
And it was a great movie. It's hilarious. If you like,
You know what, man? And I think that's what separates the real horror community from the collectors.
mm-hmm.
So to speak. The people who are only doing it for their pride, their ego, their money, whatever. I don't really think that they're true fans. And if you really get into a breakdown with them of what they like about it, what they didn't like about it, so on and so forth, you really open up as to who they are.
Exactly.
And why they go about the stuff that they do. I know a lot of people, what, dude, I don't like Sharknado. I think it's stupid as hell. But it's a franchise and it's a cult classic. I can respect the fact that they made a fucking horror movie about a goddamn sharks in a tornado.
Sam,
I think it's fucking great.
I gotta tell you something, Sam. No, I don't like Sharknado, but that's another joke on this podcast is how bad that movie is. How bad that movie is, right? But I actually, I can't remember if the episode's out or not yet. If not, hopefully it'll be out soon. But I have an episode where I'm talking about another bad shark movie, and it's called Jurassic Shark. There's one called Jurassic Shark and one called Piranha Shark. Sharknado is better than both those movies. That's the nicest thing I ever said about that movie. that's the nicest thing I ever said about that movie. I was like, it's not the worst shark movie I've seen anymore. But and I mean, I get it. Sharknado wasn't supposed to be a good movie. They made it like a jokey movie, but it was just
it's a real campy, movie. And you know what? That's great, man. There's people that love that. There's an audience for it.
There really is.
I understand that from a filmmaker's perspective, but it's not something that I would do.
No, not at all. I said it before on the podcast, and I'll say it again. That movie would have done better, in my opinion, as far as fan wise. Me being a fan of the movie, if it was Sharkicane. Hurricanes happen over the water, in the water. You got sharks in it. Boom, works. There you go.
Right.
I keep pick up that idea.
I don't know if the name works though, man. Sharkicane.
It works.
Hey, you can figure that out. But yeah, I think that would have given a lot more realism to it for sure.
You could still make it a wild movie. Sharknado, maybe it has a better ring to it, but hey, if there was never a Sharknado and there was a Sharkicane, you don't know.
Right, exactly. But again, it goes to, they're talking about remaking Jaws.
Really?
Which I personally think is a mistake because they're going with CGI. And again, you already know my feelings on CGI, which is why we're doing all practical special effects in our films. It's there is no CGI whatsoever. Yeah, the technology is phenomenal and they're doing great with it, but you can still tell it's hyper fake.
Yes, and don't get me wrong, I'm one of those horror fans that I love remakes and reboots, whatever you want to call them. As my one friend Scott would say, reimagined. But if you're gonna remake, reboot, whatever, reimagine Jaws, do practical effects, please. Don't do the whole CGI bullshit and ruin it. I won't be mad if you do a remake of it, but I will be mad if you do a remake and do a bunch of CGI and it looks like crap, because that's not what we want to see.
Yeah, because I mean, honestly, dude, they're going to spend hundreds of millions of dollars to do that, and it's going to bomb. In my opinion.
And it's again, I wouldn't be mad if they did it, but don't do CGI. That's my one thing. And two, it doesn't need. Well, you can say it about a lot of movies, but it doesn't really need to be remade at all. But I mean, if you want it, you want that money grab, do it right. Do it for the fans and do it right. Don't do it just for the money. Do it for the fans. Which brings me real quick, I guess before we wrap this up, they're doing a Pet Cemetery again. They're doing a remake of that, and it's the same people who did it from last year, which I'm actually really excited about it because I feel like with it, obviously they're not going to pull everything from the book, but they pulled a little more from the book. And I believe Pet Cemetery is going to do the same, pull more from the book, make it a little more creepy, which it was a creepy ass movie. I haven't seen it in years. I got to revisit it, but still, it was a creepy ass movie. And I'm excited for something like that.
Man, I'm kind of torn with it. I personally didn't like the new It very much. I think you can't really replace Tim Curry. It's like go back to DC Universe, and the difference between when you think of who the Joker is. I think of either Jack Nicholson or Heath Ledger. I
Mm-hmm.
think they performed the best as that character and bringing that character to life. So to remake something like that in a new form and completely change the visual aspect of it, and the thing that made it truly terrifying in the beginning, I think is a mistake personally.
I respect that. I'm not going to say you're right.
Right? No, hey, you know what, man? We can agree to disagree anytime, and I still got nothing but love for you.
No, I know, but I get what you're saying though. But I like with it, I really enjoyed it, and one thing I liked about it is how they like kept that '80s feel to it. And then with chapter two, I think it's gonna be real good. I think that's where you're really gonna get the scare from it, so to speak. And then again with Pet Cemetery, I hope they do great with. I hope they don't drop the ball on it. I hope I'm not getting too excited about it. But I guess we'll see. I think it's coming out sometime in April. But shit, I can't wait to say Normal Terror is gonna be out on this date. That's one thing I cannot wait to freaking say. Like we're gonna see this movie on such and such a date. However, it's released.
So we've got a worldwide following now. I've got a lot of Asian followers and Russian, and
Nice.
we're really going global with this thing, which is phenomenal. I mean, I couldn't have ever expected anything better, and we're just going to continue pushing and going what we can. And again, we got a few minutes left here. I don't want to keep you, any longer than I need to, but, it's, I don't know if there's any more fan questions or anything you want to get to, but, if I could do a quick shout out real quick, my cast, my crew,
Of course.
Craig Reed from Reanimator, love you. He's a phenomenal character actor. He's got a new thing that he's working with Call of the Wild. Harrison Ford's in. He got a part in that.
Nice.
And then he's just an amazing guy. We're doing a lot of work together to get this thing. Steven Stone Cipher, my he's my brother, and I love him to death. I'm looking forward to getting back on film and and getting him torn up. We have a psychological twist that we've added to the story with Steve. So we're going to pursue that and and really change things up a little bit with that. And then my actors and actresses. They're amazing in what they do. My crew, my makeup artists, Marisol Almeida with MJ Makeup. I think I said that right. I don't know, but Anna Hamill, our current DP. I think she's done a phenomenal job capturing the division that I have. Our special effects team, our just everything, and everybody that we have involved with this. Another podcast that I listen to and follow, Terror Incognito. The Jeff and Janky show with Chaotic Radio. Hashtag LBAFA, and Derek Easley and those guys over there. Cross Wars 3, Cross Contamination with Larry Layfield and, Danny Trejo and Richard Grieco and all those guys over there. What they're doing is phenomenal and amazing. Now, I know I'm going to butcher this name, and, that was somewhat of a pun because the film The Butcher, and I think it's Michael Montesaus, but I know I'm butchering his last name, and I apologize, Mike. I love you, man, and him and I are going to be working on a few things coming up. Monday, that's the film that we're doing, and everybody out there that's following us, and my business manager, Miss Jamie, love you, you're great. And everything that we're doing and moving forward with, I really do appreciate everybody for all the time and hard work that they're putting in.
Beautiful. And real quick,
Yes.
that one of those shout outs that you just threw on here, the other podcast, Terror Incognito, I just gave them a follow on Spotify, so I'm gonna give them a listen to. And I would love to. I've never heard their podcast before, but they're a horror podcast, so I would love to do a crossover with you guys one day. One day, you guys on an episode of mine. One day, possibly be on an episode of yours. I'm all about that crossover stuff when it comes to this horror stuff. So,
If there's
shout out to
anything
them.
that I can, if I can do to facilitate that or help out with that, you let me know. But also, there's a couple of guys that have really, been there for me, off of Instagram that have really helped out a lot. That's Omari Washington. He did an episode of Lethal Weapon TV show. He's a phenomenal guy. He's supported us, for quite a while now. And then, of course, if you're into to hip hop, check out the Real Young Music. You can find him on my friends list on Instagram. He's an amazing guy, and it's not my genre of music, but I support him, and he's been a phenomenal friend and ally to have. So
That's awesome right there, man. I respect that. I like how you said, for my listeners, you heard what he just said. It's not his type of music, but he still supports the kid. That's the supports the gentleman. That's awesome right there. And just because it's not your thing, if somebody's cool that you're cool with, just support what they're doing. If it's something positive, support it. Even if it's just giving them a shout out, a like, a share, telling other people to check it out that might like it. Give it a quick support. It's easy. It's not going to
yeah,
cost
dude,
you
it's
anything.
not that hard. I mean, look, the fact of the matter is, man, is we're all in this together. We're all trying to boost each other up. I mean, I think there's too much of people getting their pride and their ego in the way and trying to boost themselves by cutting others down. And I want to try and keep my shit as straight and clean as possible, and help everybody I can along the way. Because I got a lot of people out there that have pushed and helped me along the way. And I'm not going to forget that. So everybody out there who has supported us and helped and shared and the positive criticism and and all that stuff that you guys are doing out there, I really do appreciate it. Seven Arrows Film, out of I think they're filming in Arizona or New Mexico next year. Keep an eye on those guys. There's so many people that are just been phenomenal to help. If there's anything I can do to help anybody else out and help them achieve their dreams, I'm more than happy to do that.
See how nice this guy is, how genuine he is. So you need to get on there, follow that normal terror, go and like that Sacrificial Bomb Productions. Go buy some merch when they have it posted up here, and check out that trailer. It's an awesome trailer. Just be excited for this movie. Buckle up because it's gonna be great. I promise you that. And on that, man, I mean, you got anything else you want to plug or say before we wrap this one up? Are you good?
You know what, man? Everybody out there listening to your podcast and everything else, I want you to make sure that you plug into Horror with Sir Sturdy and Mr. Aaron Sturdivant and his wife Frances Sturdivant, and you guys just go out there and support him and give him some love. I love the guy to death. He's been an amazing friend and supporter of all of our stuff, and there's nobody in this world that I would rather boost than this guy right here.
I respect that so much. And this is just, we haven't even met each other in person yet. I have a feeling when I meet Sam in person, he's probably going to start crying or something.
Right?
But no.
When we get the Oscar and all this other shit, or any awards we get, because I just got my first film award too, which is phenomenal. I mean, that made me feel amazing. But yeah, man, I'm gonna be up there. Horror with Sir Sturdy and Mr. Aaron Sturdy, man. I love you, man.
I'm waiting for it. I'll be waiting for it. But no, just again, ladies and gentlemen, you see how we're joking around in this podcast. This is what goes on here. If you want to be on here, shoot me an email at horrorwithsir.sturdy@gmail.com. Again, that's horrorwithsir.sturdy@gmail.com. And anybody and everybody's welcome to come on here and discuss horror, plug your horror movies, your own podcast, whatever. Have a great time. And like I said, go check out Sam Mason, Sacrificial Palm Productions, and Normal Terror. And just one thing, too, Sam, is I have that movie, The Reanimator. I haven't watched it yet, but I listened to that interview with you and Craig Reed the other day. That made me want to watch that freaking movie. So I got to watch that movie, too. And if you haven't seen it, watch it.
Yeah, dude, it's definitely one of those old cult classics, and the practical special effects that they've done are phenomenal, which is one of the reasons, that's one of the films that, really brought me out to want to do the practical special effects rather than trying to do everything visually.
See, I love it. I freaking love it. Yeah. But thank you, man. Thank you so much for coming on again. Spending a couple hours on here with me again, and I can't wait to have you on again. We're definitely gonna have to do this again. Maybe we could try to do this where we can do something. And yes, I'm recording this. Maybe we could try to do something possibly once a month or once every other month. Just kind of catch up on what's going on. Talk about some random horror stuff that's coming out, going on, and what's going on with you guys with your horror stuff.
Hey, you know what, man? Like I've told you before, I've said it 100 times. I'll say it 100 more. Anytime at all you need me, brother, I'll be there.
I appreciate that, and likewise for you, man. Again, thanks again. I'm just gonna wrap it up. Just stay put though. Don't hang up.
You got it, brother.
So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening to this podcast again. You know where you can find me. I'm on iTunes. I'm on Spotify, Stitcher, and every other platform. Check it out. Keep liking, enjoying the podcast, sharing it, and all that great stuff. And again, if you want to be on an episode, or if you have some ideas that you want to hear me and Sam or Matt or whoever else I've had on here, or who are going to be on here in the future review, shoot me an email. That's horrorwithsir.sturdy@gmail.com. Again, that's horrorwithsir.sturdy@gmail.com. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you in your nightmare.